Hey guys, and welcome to the Trafford Trinity podcast. My name is Runthy.
Hi guys, my name's Kiri.
Hello, I'm Elliot and we met in the NCTJ course about 12 months ago, was it? 12 months ago
Literally 12 months ago, yeah.
Probably, yeah.
And this podcast has been a long time coming, so we're finally glad to get it going. But we met on the NCTJ diploma, and we bonded instantly over our love of Man United. So,
and over our agony of
guys.
Man United.
Quick question. Do any of us live in Manchester? Just to clarify.
Bro, how are you doing us dirty?
I have to. I gotta.
You're speaking for the Arsenal fans now.
We're local fans from down south. We're local fans from down south. So
yeah, gotta give us support, man. Gotta represent.
Yeah, man. God, I can't believe it's already been like a whole year since that course, though. Like,
I know. Well, you think I remember the first day when we were all in that room together, but a lot of the course was online, so it wasn't that many times that all of us were in the same.
No, but every time we were in person, it'd just be like united for a good 30-40 minutes, and everyone else would be like, Jesus, these lot are just like,
do you
about is United.
You remember that one time we watched the Leicester Man United game and I kind of reacted to a miss, I think by Rashford or something?
Sure, it was the goal because we scored and then
we went crazy. Yeah.
Oh yeah. We caused mayhem basically in the centre, just to let you guys know. Yeah.
we got thrown.
We are professional though. We are very professional when we want to be.
I mean, we all passed the course, so
100%.
That is fact.
That's something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we always decided like when we eventually do this podcast, we'd just talk about Man United and general topics that come up in the week and the months and things that are upcoming. So that was sort of the vibe to do this.
It will be high quality stuff, 100%.
It'll be NCTJ standard stuff.
Oh yeah, we'll try
rest
to.
assured. So yeah, there's 3 diehard Man United fans. Let's just see where this takes us, man. Like, I'm looking forward to this, guys.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming.
So how did you guys become United fans in the first place? Like, I literally, my first FIFA was FIFA 10. Wayne Rooney was on the cover, and like since then, I was just
It's all I've ever known.
United fan.
For me, it's all I've ever known. My dad brought me up as a Man United fan, but when he was like 6, my granddad took him to a sports shop and said, "Pick any shirt you want, and I'll buy it for you." So he picked the Man United shirt, which God knows back then probably had Bobby Charlton or something on it, and he'd been a Man United fan ever since. When I was born, it was all I've ever known.
Fair enough. For me, my one's a bit of a funny one. I think
you probably get asked this question so many times.
Yeah, when I think it was one of my primary school mates, a guy called Charlie. I think I wanted to play like basketball with him or something in the playground. And he was like, "Oh, if you want to play with me, you got to support Man United." So big up Charlie, my guy. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have been in the third year.
I think you told me that story before. That's quite cool.
Yeah. That was interesting circumstances, but to be fair, so I know Kiri, yours was like what, early 2010s or so. When did you start supporting Man United? Like what season?
I guess mate, from birth, but like my earliest memory.
As soon as you came out the womb, like that's it. You're pronounced this will be Man U.
I had a Solskjaer shirt on when I came out of the womb. I think my earliest memory was when we won the 2008 Champions League final because I was 8 years old then. I remember running upstairs when Ronaldo missed, and then my dad called me back down when Terry missed. I remember that. Yeah, so that's my earliest memory.
That has to be my favorite night as a Man United fan, and for many Man United fans. I think my first memory was actually, annoyingly, it was the Invincible season, but I do remember the FA Cup final when we had against Millwall. I think we beat them 3-0. Ronaldo scored a header in that game. That's like my earliest memory, so like around 2004. I remember seeing Rooney's hat-trick against Fenerbahce on ITV. That was iconic. That was a good memory, yeah. Oh, man.
It's a cool thing. Like I know every football, but especially Man United, everyone has a story about them, which makes them, love the club. Like all around the world, doesn't matter where you go in the world. It's like
100%.
As in, I mean, even though like we're not from Manchester, like what certifies us as Man U fans? We go to a game, buy a shirt. I mean,
I think it's just the love for the club. Like forget like where you follow them from. Just
because there's people from anywhere, all corners of the globe. You can't tell me that just because like one of the most biggest fans from Australia has never been to the game doesn't make them a fan.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
If they get up at like 6 o'clock in the morning and watch every single game, that's a true fan, isn't it? So
yeah, exactly, 100%. Particularly, and you know what's ironic? People call Man United fans glory hunters. Well, we haven't had glory in the last decade or so. So, to those fans who joined more recently, you definitely can't name down at them.
But it's coming back. The glory will come.
Well, let's see. I mean, hopefully we bring some of that glory as well.
Yeah,
that magic stardust. Yeah, man.
Should we start with some topics that we were going to talk about?
Yep.
100%.
So, right. So, Harry Maguire, he recently came out, a source close to him, apparently came out to Mark Ogden at the ESPN. And sources say that Harry Maguire's frustrations with David De Gea's communication and reluctance to defend further away from his goal line were a factor in the overall melee in defense last season. Harry hasn't had a good 12 months, but he's been helped by those around him, coaches or players. Sorry, he hasn't. So it's inevitable that his confidence and form have suffered. Harry needs pace around him, but he hasn't had that. If you put Ruben Diaz in the Man United defense and Harry in the City back four, Diaz would struggle and Harry would thrive. Arendt, what are your thoughts on it?
I don't know, man. I think it sounds like a lot of excuses are kind of being made here for Maguire's like woeful form. I'm sorry, like some of the stuff he was doing, like you don't even see free kids do that in the playground. Like some of the defending he's done, like I can't lie. I don't think Maguire is a terrible defender. Like I've always said it. Like I saw the Maguire, not just at Euros, but even the season before that, leading up to it. Like he has decent qualities, but the problem is his form since the Euros has been so poor. And like you even see players like Rafael Varane look mid because he's playing next to him. Like look at the difference now that you're seeing two centre backs, including Varane. Like who are actually like who are on job. Like you know what I mean, they have that competency, and like there were just too many flaws with Maguire. I'm not sure about sympathy for him, but I do feel like he did get overused way too much. Like he should have been dropped a lot earlier. And that's where I kind of question the management of him. It's like with, I guess you could say, other players as well, not getting dropped at all. And I think he did need time out earlier. His confidence, you can just see, is just on the floor. But yeah, I'm not so sure if you can just simply say that if you put him at City, then he'll thrive. Like, I don't necessarily agree with that. I think there is more to it than, yeah.
I think it's interesting that everyone said last year that it was Ronaldo that was causing all the problems in the dressing room, and there's stuff leaking.
And it's slowly similar. Like Maguire starting to like do something similar to what Ronaldo did.
Last season, I don't think it was just Ronaldo that was bad in that dressing room, like people said.
Yeah,
but I don't think I agree with you, Aaron. I don't think he's a bad defender. I don't think he's a bad player at all. There's worse players, but like the mistakes he's made over the past 12 months, just inexcusable. So it's like he's supposed to be the captain. You think about all those big defeats we've had in the past couple
but
of
he
years.
was never supposed to be captain, which makes no sense to me. He never should have been captain.
No.
Yeah, 100%. Like the whole captaincy thing, like it's another sort of symptom of this Oli era that's just like kind of plagued Man United. Like why was he?
But hear me out though. When we first signed him, do you reckon it was do you reckon we should have signed him? Not in hindsight overall, but like you got to realize it wasn't all bad at the start.
But he was one of the like most exciting defenders in the world. You think the World Cup he had the year before, and then he was great for Leicester. But he was
voted player of the season for Leicester.
Yeah, he was brilliant, really brilliant.
He was, but I think just the pressure of Man United,
And 80 million.
Sorry, go on.
80 million as well. Sorry, was
Yeah, the price tag doesn't help. It does make him look worse. I'm not going to lie, but I just think there's certain players who are built for Man United. And I just think mentally, like the guy's way off. Like I see him posting on his Instagram, stats after we lose 2-1 at home to Sheffield United. Like just the mentality is just on the floor. And I think he's a symbol of United's poor mentality.
We apologize, but we go again.
Yeah. Oh, don't get me started on that, bro. Honestly,
That's not just him though.
That was my head in. Like,
Yeah.
I just unfollowed
half the team probably. Yeah.
Here's a question for you both. Would he be able to go into this starting lineup and replace the Butcher or Varane?
The Butcher. I love that as a nickname. That's a pretty sick nickname.
It is a good nickname.
No chance.
But could he replace them and have that same level of passion?
No.
Because that back four at the moment looks like they would die for each other.
I love that. I absolutely love it. I think it's such a sick balance.
Even Dalot's improved so much in the past couple of months, weeks.
I mean, I hate to. I mean, does he get into this team? 100% no, right now. But going back to Aaron's point about a product of the Ole era, you got to realize Maguire was bought for a reason, and this is where I'm going to play devil's advocate for a few seconds here, because I know people watching this are going to be like, why the hell is he playing advocate for Maguire when he's been so bad for so long? But it's like, we bought him for a reason. He's played so many games in a row for a reason. Like, didn't he hold a record for starting the most 90-minute full games in a row for United since God knows when? I mean, doesn't that mean something?
Yeah, but look at our form for it. Okay, fine. You could say in the lockdown season we did all right, finishing second, although I still think we could have done better. But I mean, he started a lot of the games last season. You see our results last season.
He was a good
run. Sorry.
He was a good signing that hasn't turned out well.
You can say that about a lot of Man United players.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a bit of an oxymoron. Like the paradox, what you've just said. Like, I kind of contrast each other. The sort of phrases you've used there, Kiri.
Because we bought him for a reason. He came in. He did well in the first season he was there. He did well in the 1920 season.
He did.
2021, he did well when we finished second in
it was very good.
Premier League, Europa League final. I mean, he didn't play the Europa League final, but that whole campaign he did well. He played so many games with Lindelof. Like, did we look solid? Yes. Did we play a lot of teams that aren't really as good as City, Liverpool? Yeah, fair enough. But I mean, he was in form. He was one of the best defenders in Europe for that period.
I don't disagree. Yeah,
but he was part of that unbeaten away run we had.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could also argue that's down to the other players as well, because one player doesn't make a team.
No, but he wasn't making mistakes he was then that he is now.
He wasn't. But like I said, since the 2021-2022 season, basically last season, it's just gone downhill massively. It hasn't even looked like he's recovered. So.
Aaron, what's your take on this source coming out saying that if you put Ruben Diaz in the Man United defence and Harry in the City back four, Diaz would struggle and Harry would thrive? Because I thought that really stood out.
What do you mean by back four? You mean United's back four from last season? Are we saying
this?
That?
I mean, yeah, probably last season.
No, I don't think it. I wouldn't say it's as straightforward as that. I don't think Diaz would have been as bad as Maguire. I think Diaz is a better defender than Maguire.
But also, why do you need better players around you when, like, you should be taking responsibility and accountability for yourself?
100%. No, you're right. 100%. Like, this excuse that players need certain other players to unlock them and stuff like that. Like, if you're a defender, you should be doing your job. You should. It's not like you're a striker relying on through balls from a midfielder to be good. Like, you're a defender. You have to just be able to defend on your own a lot and obviously communicate with others. But you're relying on yourself rather than relying on service from other people. So,
see, I disagree with that. I think in a back four you need so much communication. It's on a different level to anything else. So if you're not communicating in the back four and you haven't got that back line,
I get your point. Sorry, I get your point about the communication. I'm just talking about in terms of the technical thing, like, he needs like better players around him. Well, no, technically you should still be able to defend yourself. That's what I mean, like one-on-one, blah blah blah. I'm not dismissing your point about communication. Yeah, of course that is important.
On your point, Elliot, about communication in the back four. So Maguire, on his partnership with Martinez early on in the season, said, "It's great to have Martinez at the club. We have competition for places at centre-back. We've not played much together, and in that first period, we're not on the same wavelength. Centre-back partnerships are built over time, and we will get a lot better." It's a bit a contrast compared to Varane there now, and this source of Harry Maguire coming out and saying that because of communication issues, like he couldn't get on with the rest of our defense. Like it just sounds a bit odd, all of it.
I don't know. I mean, as I said, I don't think if Maguire gets put back in that team, even in 10 weeks' time, it would be any better than it was for the first 2 games of the season.
Yeah,
I just don't think Martinez, the Butcher, or Maguire will be able to work together. But
it's not even a case of communication. It's just these lot are hungrier. Like they play with intensity that Maguire has never played with since he's joined.
What do you both think Ten Hag said to those players after that Brentford defeat, like midweek? Because I have no idea what he could possibly have said for them to come out in that Liverpool game.
I feel like there were a few things. Firstly, I think what he did the day after, where he told them to do like a long, like 13K run or something.
They didn't cover.
Sorry?
Run the distance.
Running.
Yeah. And the fact that he did it himself, Ten Hag, and took accountability, I love that. And I think that would have rubbed off really well on the players. That would have like been, because I heard apparently from a source that like on wherever on Twitter that their players were initially a bit vexed that they had to do this long rumble, and they saw that Ten Hag took responsibility and did it himself. They're like, rah, fair play. So
do you reckon Ten Hag always had the stamina to do 13K, but never really showed it? But then it was like, oh shit, it's a nice chance to like, okay, fine, I'll do it myself and show these lot. I reckon he had that in the locker this whole time. He just busted it out just to prove a point, which was great in the end. It worked out. But
definitely.
He's probably faster than Maguire. Let's be real.
I mean, who isn't? All three of us.
Yeah, true.
Maguire on the turn, like it just takes him so long.
God, and it just gives me a headache even thinking about that as a sight.
So Chiellini came out and said for the Times, I am sad for Maguire's situation because he is a good player. They require too much of him. Just because they paid 80 million for him, he has to be the best in the world every match. It's not right. The value of the market is dependent on many aspects you can't control. It's not your fault. Him and John Stones are a good deal for England. Maguire maybe is not Rio Ferdinand, but he's good enough.
This John Stones point, well, they play in a back five, I swear, for England.
Back 3 and
3/5. You know what I mean, though. Like it's
probably a sub. How many DMs do they play? Like 3-5-2?
2, yeah. That's. Do you know what I mean?
So if it's 2 DMs, then it's like a back 7 at that point. So push.
That's what I mean. It made him look so much better at the Euros when I deeped it, like the whole.
Yeah, I think that's why I play better under Ollie, because we would constantly counter-attack him.
Yeah.
So he was always deep. He didn't have to turn that much or sprint back. He was always on his penalty box when we were playing against the bigger teams.
Yeah, Maguire in a high line.
And that is why we've been winning so much, because Maguire in a high line doesn't work, and we've been playing a high line.
Don't you think this is the biggest week of his career with the upcoming games?
I think his
international games, which he'll likely start.
To be honest with you, I don't think it's about the international. I think it's about the source that's come out. I think it's the end of his career, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I mean, his career for England, it's big, but like I think Gabby Agbonlahor on TalkSport, he came out and literally said that he thinks Maguire will start no matter what for England. So
yeah, I think so as well. What do you guys? You guys not think that?
Yeah. Unless he plays really terribly in the next couple of games and makes 10 mistakes, and then we might start Stones.
But again, he's got so many good players around him. It's the same case as Pogba, where he's got enough quality players around him, but on his own, can't really do much.
All right, then. What about moving on? What about Sancho and Rashford and their form and not getting into the England team? Obviously, Rashford had a little knock, like a little injury, but Sancho's been really good this season.
It's again what Kiri said. Southgate has his favourites. It's just so annoying. Like, where's the logic in not having Sancho in your squad? Like, the guy's been turning up. Like, he's scoring the goals. Like he's actually playing with confidence. Like, I don't get it, but it's Southgate. I'm not surprised.
What do you think, Kiri?
So this season, Rashford scored 3 goals and 2 assists in the Premier League, and Sancho's got
He scored in Europe. He scored against Liverpool. He scored against Leicester.
So Sancho scored 3 goals. So both of them have been really good. Should they have played for England? Obviously, Rashford, you can't really say because he's injured. Sancho, again, it's like he's only just shown this now when Southgate has probably picked the squad maybe a week or 2 weeks before it got announced.
But Mason Mount, what do you think? Like Mason Mount's in the team.
Grealish, Jack Grealish is in the team.
Yeah, I'm sorry. There's no defending Southgate with this. Like, he's just.
I'm sorry. Is Luke Shaw in there? Yeah, we haven't even talked about Luke Shaw.
Yeah, he's in.
I don't think Shaw's a bad player though. It's like Maguire.
I don't think he's.
But the thing is, why do you pick Captain Cobwebs when he's sitting on the bench for the good part of how many months, and then the other players who've been doing really well don't get picked?
Honestly, this favoritism is ridiculous. It's going to cost England. It's just going to cost England.
Or do you think Southgate's just comfortable with the team and he thinks I have this system that works, I need these exact players, and if the system...
I think he's repaying the favour they did him during the Euros with their good form. I think it's just good faith in players.
Yeah, fair. I get what you're trying to say, Kiri, but football shouldn't work like that. Like, you got to move on with the times. Like, who's actually in form? Like, form has to.
I agree. But, I agree. But if I was manager of England, I probably wouldn't have it that way. I mean, again, it is what it is. But I'm glad. I think Sancho and Rashford have kind of benefited from that situation because not going to England means they've got more training time on the pitch with Ten Hag.
Interesting.
Yeah, and Ten Hag's done something to them, especially Rashford, because they look like different players.
Yeah, 100%. So yeah, I was going to say, moving on to one of our biggest signings in recent years, in terms of money at least, Casemiro from Real Madrid. Obviously, as you guys probably were, I was very excited, when I heard about the signing.
Mate, what about Eriksen? He's literally been our best player this season. Saying.
No, honestly, yeah, Eriksen, like, big shout out to him. He's been superb. I just find it interesting that Casemiro is hardly featured that much, but yeah.
I feel like Eriksen, it's like he doesn't do social media every day, and he's not got a haircut, so he just gets on with it, plays perfect passes.
He's literally everything that Pogba should have been. I mean, so far. I mean, season hasn't even started. Season starts in Feb, but
I get where you're stands. No, honestly, man, I am one of the biggest fans of Eriksen. I said it before he joined. He is our best player technically, and he's already proven it with a few games. Like, I was at the United Arsenal game a few weeks ago. Like, the balls he played to Bruno, just that zipped passes. Like, I haven't seen a United player even come close to doing that since Carrick, maybe. Like, just even those small things. And like, his IQ, he's another level. He's a joy to watch. He's like what Arsenal fans say about players like Cazorla and Ozil. You pay just to watch these players. I would pay just to watch Eriksen. That's the highest compliment I could pay.
I agree with that.
When you watch Eriksen play, I don't know about you, but like, since that thing happened at the Euros, I always feel like he's always a few minutes away from that happening again, or just something scary is about around the corner, because it's always in the back of your mind because it's happened before.
Trust me.
I mean, to be fair, so far he's done well. Like, he's been subbed off quite a few times, but the minutes he's played, and I think he's played nearly every other game, he's done superb.
Like you both know, I know something about head injury myself, and I can see when he goes for headers, he doesn't put 110% into the header. That's the only thing I've noticed.
Yeah.
But I completely understand that. Plus, he's small as well.
You could argue he doesn't have to when he's got McTominay playing next to him.
Which brings us nicely onto our point of Casemiro not playing much and McTominay starting every game.
Yeah.
Go on, Arith. Kick it off.
This is the moment we know you want to talk about this.
As fellow Man United fans of mine, including one or two people here, might know I'm not the biggest fan of Scott McTominay. I will give him his dues. He has actually.
Oh, boo!
No, I was gonna say. Hear me out. I was gonna say, fair enough. He has turned up this season so far in terms of his actual application performances have been good. I still think moving forward, like, am I convinced by him? Not fully. Like I've seen a bit of an improvement with him, but I'm surprised that Casemiro hasn't featured as much. Maybe it's a sign from Ten Hag that, just because you've got a huge price tag and you're from Real Madrid and you've won this many Champions Leagues, it doesn't mean that you're guaranteed a starting spot. It's how you play, which is, I commend that in a way, but I do hope to see more of Casemiro moving forward. But yeah, I know, Kiri, you have different opinions on McTominay. You're a big fan.
Okay, since that game, so we got beat 4-0 by Brentford. I'm not sure, was McTominay available for that game? Yes, he was.
He played.
Did he start? Did he start that game?
I'm not sure. He didn't start that game. I think he came on in the second half. He wasn't part of the
Yes, because Fred
and
Eriksen.
Yeah.
Yes, and to be fair, Brentford scored all their goals in the first half anyway.
Yeah.
But the second half we actually created quite a few chances. Ronaldo missed a few chances, and
so my point is, McTominay has been played since that game. I think every Premier League game, and we've won.
Yeah.
Right, or drawn.
No, we've won.
We've won every
games. Yeah.
So my point is, Ten Hag has clearly shown he doesn't want to change a winning team. McTominay every game has turned up. He's always been criticized for being limited, for being not suited to the DM role, because the United DM, if you look at when you look at that, you look at players like Carrick, players who can just shield the ball and then just get those long passes forward and get it to our forwards, feed them, try and create chances. McTominay's finally been doing that, and I don't know if people are going to accept it now or not.
I completely agree with you. Actually, I think Ten Hag said unless McTominay plays badly for a game, I can't have an excuse to drop him, even for Casemiro. And I don't think I commend that, because why would you change a winning team? That's why, there's no reason to change that back four. There's no reason to change the midfield. And okay, Anthony's come in instead of Elanga now, but there's no reason to change the front.
Yeah,
I think I'm right in saying that. And Ten Hag's obviously said, I'm not going to change the teams if I need to.
I see what you mean.
Aaron,
go on.
At this point, I'm going to ask you: Would you play at DM in whatever game that comes up? Let's just forget that we have a City game coming up. Let's just say we've got a Champions League final to play. At this moment in time, would you pick Casemiro or McTominay to play as your DM?
I'd still pick Casemiro, because he has performed at such a consistent level on such big stages for a number of seasons, and I just trust the guy more. I'm not dismissing McTominay's recent form. I literally said, fair play. He's actually turned up a bit this season, and his strengths have been utilized more. His physical presence. How his application, particularly in that Liverpool game, was brilliant. To be fair, I still have reservations about him technically in terms of, the whole passing and stuff. I've heard some people say that even with Casemiro, he does the dog work, he does the dirty work. Is he the best in that other sense? But I've seen this guy just excel so much. Okay, not on a weekly basis, but in Champions League finals and stuff like that. And I just think with a player of his pedigree, if you combine that with Eriksen and you've got Bruno, we could be cooking. I mean, we are doing well right now. Fair enough. I do take your point that McTominay hasn't played badly enough to be dropped, but I guess if I'm going to be honest, I would want to see Casemiro eventually.
I think that's the plan, though. I think long-term plan is Casemiro to be in the starting lineup. Otherwise, they wouldn't have signed him.
That's true. Well, go on, Kiri. Go on.
You know how it's weird, because there are rumors of going around that they signed Malacia or whoever to challenge Shaw for left back to try and Tellez, in one sense, to try and push him and whatnot. And there's rumours coming around that they might sign a right back to try and push Dalot. But I feel like the same thing might be for McTominay. I mean, you could argue that Casemiro is really there just to challenge McTominay for a spot at the moment.
Yeah. maybe, perhaps. I'm not even sure how much of a Ten Hag signing Casemiro was. I'm not going to lie. I do think there was an element of this being the Glazers just trying to appease.
Igalo, Cavani.
Yeah,
kind of.
yeah, just a rank. But yeah, that's.
De Jong was the first choice, and we couldn't get him for that position.
Sorry.
I think De Jong was the first choice.
Oh yeah, 100%.
To get him.
Yeah, but
Like,
he came out.
We signed De Jong, we wouldn't have signed Casemiro. That's almost a fact.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah, but Barcelona's got his moods, so we move on.
But he's sat on the bench now, so he's loving life.
That's it, Captain Cobweb.
Yeah.
Captain Cobweb. Oh my god. But yeah, guys, that brings us to an end for our first podcast. It was a pleasure, guys.
I think really, we need one thing. Like when I say the butcher on this podcast, I mean Martinez.
The butcher.
The butcher.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for pointing that out.
Yeah. On our next podcast, we'll be looking forward to the Manchester derby. Very exciting. Super Sunday game. And yeah, hopefully reflect on like how the United players got on internationals, etc. But yeah, thank you very much, Kiri and Elliot, and thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you guys very soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Cheers.
See ya.
See you soon.